Stevie Ray Vaughan was never shy about naming the guitarists who shaped him. From blues kings to jazz legends, from mentors he jammed with to icons he studied on record. Each left fingerprints on his sound. Let's explore the 10 players Stevie himself called his favorites, in his own words. Stevie often spoke with awe when Hendrix's name came up. In one interview, he said, "I love Jimi a lot. He was so much more than just a blues guitarist." What struck Stevie was Hendrix's fearless creativity. "I was about 16 when he died. I've been trying to find out what he was doing, and I'm trying to expand on it," he admitted. SRV wasn't trying to mimic Hendrix. He was trying to carry the torch further. Like in this clip, he confessed to spending years dissecting Jimi's phrasing, tone, and raw intensity. And every time Stevie launched into Voodoo Child on stage, you could feel both reverence and continuation.
Yes. And Jimi was like God. Look, by the time I was 12, Jimi was gone. And here he was like about the hottest guitar player I knew of.
Hendrix gave him permission to break boundaries, to dream bigger, and to let the guitar speak beyond categories.
If it wasn't for bad luck, I would now no luck at all.
For Stevie, Albert King wasn't just a favorite player. He was proof that blues could be both fierce and deeply human. In 1983, the blues crossed generations on live TV. Albert King, the man who taught the world how to bend a string, sat across from a 28-year-old Texas firestorm named Stevie Ray Vaughan. What happened next wasn't just a performance, it was a passing of the torch. Albert was cool, calm, and grinning, calling Stevie little brother. SRV, nervous at first, plugged in and unleashed pride and joy. His trademark shuffle that dripped with raw energy, soul, and Texas grit.
They're just players. They play fast. They don't concentrate on no soul. But you got them both.
I'll be trying.
What is that fast thing you was doing, that rap thing? Boy, that had a heck of a groove to it. The other part.
This thing called Pride and Joy.
Pride and Joy. You give me some of it.
Albert didn't need to trade licks or outplay him. He just sat back, nodded in approval, and gave that legendary smile that said it all. The blues was safe in Stevie's hands. If you've never seen this performance, do yourself a favor and watch history being made. SRV didn't just play for Albert King that night, he earned his blessing. And that's the highest honor a bluesman can get. Stevie's introduction to B.B. King came through the records his brother Jimi brought home. The effect was immediate. "That changed everything for me," Stevie recalled in one interview. He explained that hearing B.B. for the first time showed him what real phrasing meant, how one note could carry the weight of a whole story. In another interview, Stevie described how he practiced by singing B.B.'s licks first, then copying them on guitar.
B.B. King, those people are, it's an incredible feeling to be able to play with them, because it's all get it and go.
That approach became Stevie's trademark. By treating the guitar like a voice, he brought emotion into every bend and vibrato. You can hear B.B.'s shadow in Texas Flood, not in imitation, but in the way Stevie let each note breathe like a human cry. While Albert and B.B. gave Stevie depth and soul, Freddie King brought the fire. Stevie often described Freddie as the most electrifying of the three kings, the one who showed him how to attack the strings with raw power.
Freddie King does Hideaway like...
In the 1989 interview with Tim Graham, Stevie talks about how Freddie's style shaped his own playing. Listen to the way Stevie explains Freddie's bite and energy, and how it stuck with him as a young guitarist. Freddie wasn't just about tone, it was the showmanship. The ability to take blues out of small clubs and fill entire arenas with attitude. Stevie carried that lesson into his own concerts, where every solo felt like a call to arms. When Vaughan played Freddie's classic Hideaway, it wasn't a cover. It was a tribute to the man who taught him how to make blues roar. For Stevie Ray Vaughan, Lonnie Mack wasn't just another name on a record sleeve. He was a turning point. Stevie often recalled how, as a kid, he sat with Mack's records and tried to copy every lick. In the first interview from 1986, he was asked what he got from Lonnie's playing. His answer was simple but powerful. I mainly just picked up big-time inspiration. That inspiration later turned into friendship. In a Guitar World feature, Stevie told the story of Lonnie walking into a club where Double Trouble was playing. Stevie invited him on stage, and from that night on, they stayed close. Lonnie even asked about producing the band. For Stevie, Lonnie Mack was proof that heroes could step off the vinyl and become mentors. It wasn't imitation anymore. It was partnership. For proof of how much Stevie admired him, just watch this clip of the two jamming Wham together. It's not just student meeting teacher, it's two equals celebrating the same fire. Not every guitar hero in Stevie's life was a blockbuster name. Hubert Sumlin was one he lifted up. In a 1985 interview clip, SRV calls Sumlin
The heaviest, most original guitar player I've ever heard in my life. And that's the truth.
What drew Stevie to Sumlin was his fearless unpredictability. Sumlin didn't rely on formulaic licks. He played sharp angles, surprising bends, sudden stops. Stevie said he learned from that to break patterns and let raw feeling guide your lead lines.
I ain't never seen a grown man jump up and down and have so much fun as when he plays on his guitar. I love Hubert to death.
In that clip, you can hear how Stevie's admiration is rooted in identifying with Sumlin's rebellion. Sumlin didn't wait for validation. He just played with unfiltered voice. That attitude seeped into Stevie's approach across solos. Daring, alive, unafraid. Sumlin's influence is in the edges of Stevie's improvisation, where the next bend might twist unexpectedly. He wasn't a name everyone cited, but for Stevie, he was essential. Let's move on to Albert Collins. Stevie Ray Vaughan got to share a stage with Albert Collins, and those moments left a mark. One standout is their joint performance of Frosty at the 1989 presidential inauguration concert. Stevie talked often about Collins' tone, that icy, stinging attack that felt like a snap in the air. He appreciated how Collins could make the guitar sound dangerous, unforgiving, and alive. When Stevie got behind the strings, he sometimes leaned into that same brittle edge. What made Collins special to him was his refusal to conform. He didn't stick to standard blues formulas. Using high capo positions and daring bends, Collins pushed the instrument's boundaries. And in their live moments together, you glimpse how Stevie matched that daring spirit rather than simply echoing it. Next up is not one of the biggest names, but Stevie carried deep respect for Otis Rush, one of the pioneers of Chicago's West Side sound. Rush's influence on Stevie is easy to trace. Vaughan often played Rush's classic All Your Love, a song he had clearly absorbed note for note. Friends and writers recalled that Stevie admired Rush's ability to pour raw heartbreak into every bend and phrase. In conversations about his own style, Stevie sometimes pointed to Rush as an example of how to make the guitar cry, not just play notes, but deliver emotion with every strike. There's even an anecdote from Austin when Stevie met Otis Rush at Antone's Club. That meeting left an impression on him, showing that one of his idols was as soulful in person as he was on record. For Stevie, Otis embodied the blues at its most vulnerable. Stevie Ray Vaughan didn't just draw from blues, he also admired guitarists who broke molds. In the 1986 so-called first interview, SRV mentions Django Rheinhardt while naming other guitar heroes, but Stevie went even further when comparing Django to Hendrix. He explained, "To me, Django and Jimi were doing the same thing in a lot of ways. Django would do it with acoustic guitar, and Jimi would do it on electric. Neither one of them had anything to build on, they just did it. Django didn't have any book or anything to borrow from. He wrote the book. Same with Jimi. Nobody was doing those kinds of electronic things he was doing, he just did it." That insight shows how Stevie saw Django not just as a jazz pioneer, but as a revolutionary. Reinhardt embodied fearless invention, the very spirit Stevie wanted to carry forward. Stevie Ray Vaughan's love of the blues always came first, but he also admired jazz guitarists who could create atmosphere with just a handful of notes, and Kenny Burrell stood high on that list. In the 1986 interview with Andy Aladort, Stevie brought up Burrell and even mentioned performing his tune Chitlin's Con Carne. What drew Stevie to Burrell was his elegant restraint. Unlike the fire of Hendrix or the bite of Collins, Burrell's playing whispered instead of shouted. That balance showed Stevie another way to approach the guitar with patience, space, and mood. You can hear Burrell's influence in Stevie's softer pieces like Lenny, where the focus is on tone and atmosphere rather than speed or flash. By embracing Burrell's subtlety, Stevie expanded his vocabulary beyond Texas blues, proving that quiet intensity could be just as powerful as raw energy. Stevie Ray Vaughan's sound was a mosaic of his heroes: Hendrix's fire, the King's soul, Django's daring, and Burrell's elegance. These 10 players shaped his voice and spirit. Which influence surprised you most? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into rock history.